Alright guys, Tyler Hooks here with Tekno RC again, and we are moving on to Bag G, which is going to be the rear hub and rear camera link build. There's a lot going on with this that we didn't have before on any of our previous cars. The new hubs, in the hub itself, you have all of these inserts that allow you to raise and lower the hub to change your roll center, which is something we've never had before. Huge tuning option. I loved using it when I had the prototype car, and I plan to use it quite a bit with the new car. The other thing that we have the ability to do is change static toe and active toe at the hub itself in the arm. I want to caution people when they're looking at the static toe and active toe. Once you get really solidified in your setup and you feel really comfortable at your track, static toe and active toe might be something that you want to try just to get a couple more tenths here and there. But it is a really, really good way to get yourself confused if you aren't ready for it. So basically, static toe is just like changing the toe at the hinge pins, the center hinge pins, like we normally do, where you can, basically add toe out or toe in, but you're actually doing it at the outside of the arm itself, where the outer hinge pins are. You can basically toe in or out the arms at the outer hinge pin itself, and you can add a little bit more there. Active toe actually changes how much toe the car has through the stroke of the shock. You can either add extra toe through the stroke, or you can take toe away through the stroke. And again, these are some more complex tuning options that we only really recommend once you're really solidified in what you're doing, and you're looking for a little bit more here or there, because like I said, it's a really, really easy way to get yourself confused or to get yourself out of the ballpark on your setup. But if you feel comfortable, you want to give it a try, there's some really good charts and diagrams in the manual that show you how to use it and what all it's going to do. So check those out before you give that a shot. By no means do we want to discourage anybody from trying it, but just know what you're getting yourself into, so that you kind of know what to look for and how it feels on the track before you jump into using the static toe at the hub or even the active toe, because they are really, really cool options, but they are kind of complex in how they work. But again, as always, we're going to show how this looks at the end with the kit setup. And yeah, we'll get to it. So if you have any questions about static or active toe, we'll do our best to explain them. If you have any questions about anything else, again, reach out on all our social media accounts. Should be pretty easy to get a hold of us. And yeah, next up will be the end of rear hub and camera link, which is Bag G, and we'll show you what it looks like all put together and mounted on the rear arms and everything. Thank you. All right, guys, Bag G is now complete. So the rear hubs are now on the car, as well as the camera link. So basically the whole rear end is done. The kit setup calls for roll center number 2, which is a little bit lower roll center at the actual hub. It's definitely a good place to start. Should give a little bit more rear grip. It also calls for arm inserts for static and active toe A, which means 0 static toe, 0 active toe. So it's basically just the standard setup that you would find on most cars where there's nothing really built into them. So this is a really kind of a basic setup to start with, which is definitely what I would recommend. Don't want to get too far down the rabbit's hole when you start with this car. Those are definitely things, as I talked about before, that you should try later on down the line when you feel more comfortable. But definitely a good place to start with 0 static, 0 active toe, and a little bit lower roll center. But the turnbuckles themselves, which is the first time that we see them, have been optimized a little bit. So as you can see, they are super free out of the box. So that's definitely one of the biggest differences from the 0.4 to this car, is that everything is just insanely free when you build it. You don't have to ream anything or do anything crazy like that. And ultimately, that's going to make the car feel more comfortable on the track. It allows the shock to do its job better. It's just good stuff all around. So next, we're going to move on to bag H, and we will show you what comes out of the bag for that one, and then obviously show what it looks like when it's done. So again, if you guys have any questions or would like any more information, feel free to reach out, and we will see you later. Thank you.